Today's talk focuses on pre-market and post-market trading of stock, particularly in this case, obviously Tesla. As you know, this is Greg from Teslafaninsight. We want to thank our Patreon supporters, greatly appreciated. A like even in the Patreon space is greatly appreciated, and comments are also appreciated. Today I wanted to, today is the 6th of May 2020, and we're doing our trade blast today with kind of a focus on pre-market and post-market trading. As you know, we're kind of in the, in our minds, we're kind of in a still positive zone for Tesla. The market is participating because Dow's up 100 points, NASDAQ is up 65 points pre-market. So the environment in general seems to be pretty positive, and Tesla seems to be benefiting from that positivity in terms of the stock price being up. Now, it was kind of fortuitous because we actually have a viewer named Graham, and for the last couple of 3 weeks, I've been sort of learning about pre-market and post-market trading from one of our largest traders in our sort of trade group. So basically, I've been watching his trades. He's doing 500 to 1,000 shares pre or post-market as a way to sort of obviously make money, and sort of observing some of the issues, good and bad, that it can occur with it. And so basically I decided, one, to cover what we're seeing in terms of Tesla. I mean, I keep scanning the news all the time to figure out when Fremont is going to open again, and therefore we can have some nice proceeds from that opening. The second thing that's going on is that obviously any news from Elon is always an adventure to determine what's going to happen. So right now where we're at is that there's a strange phenomenon that keeps happening, and it's causing me to very much obviously look to address it in terms of changing up my trading strategy. And what that is that there's this interesting phenomenon, definitely with Tesla, but I would say with other stocks, where typically earnings are announced after the market close. And the problem is that if you're not approved for post or after a pre-market trading, you kind of miss out on the opportunity to trade that information before the rest of the marketplace gets a chance to trade it heavily. So I actually have an E-Trade and Ameritrade account. Most of the people that I trade with are on Ameritrade, but I have both platforms, have found E-Trade to be easy to work with, primarily because Ameritrade has this crazy deal where you have to wire funds to a Wells Fargo account associated with Ameritrade, and then Wells Fargo deposits the money into E-Trade on your behalf. Whereas with E-Trade, they have their own bank, and you can go straight in with funds on a wiring basis, and there's no drama from it. So hence, I found myself migrating more to use of E-Trade for that reason. So I wanted to note that in order to figure out, sort of I've been late to the party, but definitely need to become more aggressive about it. And that is because what I'm finding is about 70% of the movement of Tesla's stock price tends to happen in the aftermarket or the pre-market. And what you're getting by the time the market opens is very little of the movement that might occur. So my solution to this has been to go ahead and start taking positions before the market closes, whichever way I think things are going, making sure I'm hedged as a way to control potential downside from the choice that I've made. I'm now going to apply and get aftermarket trading opportunities open, because I think that it's critical to have this, because those that do have it are getting a chance to make a lot of money trading that stock afterwards. It was interesting to watch. So the next issue is sort of, is it a good idea? Are there downsides? What kind of things can happen? So something very interesting happened with Tesla this past evening, where aftermarket for about 15 or 20 minutes, the stock was down $1.50, in line with the decline that it had been experiencing at the end of yesterday. What then happened was all of a sudden the stock went up $7, and then that sort of, I think the close of aftermarket hours is at 8 p.m. and the open of pre-market trading is actually 7 a.m. So what ended up happening is that I noticed that first the stock bounced up $7, and then overnight we noticed that it kind of moved up to about 11 points up at 780, and we're entering our trade process for pre-market at 7 a.m. Eastern, which gives about 2.5 hours of trading before the market opens this morning. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, because the suggestion based on last night's movement of 7 points up and this morning adding another 3.5 points to that movement, even pre-market trading, with about 10,000 shares traded, suggests that this thing is going to be up somewhere between 20 and 25 points today, at least for a few minutes. And so therefore, it'd be nice to be in on the pre-market, because I think you might be able to pick up some dollars, sell out before the market opens, and if you're trading options, go back to doing that. From what I've seen, there isn't the opportunity to trade options in the pre or post, but you can trade the stock. So one of the sort of movements I've been watching is that our largest trader will do 500 to 1,000, maybe even 2,000 shares of Tesla if he feels that there's a positive direction for the stock pre-market. That way, he can kind of make his money before the market opens, sell out, and it was a good day. He has gotten sort of head snapped a couple of times where suggestion was an up market and all of a sudden it was down. For example, yesterday, market, we opened up at 986 or $786, got to a high of 790, and then it sort of plunged back to earth at about 767 by the end of the day. So it's clear that there are risks with doing aftermarket or pre-market. Among the other issues is the spreads are actually a lot wider. And this has been interesting to watch as well, because our big trader likes to get his price, otherwise he doesn't play. And I've been kind of making mental notes in about 50 or 100 trades, and of those trades, I'd say it's a third, and a third. He'll pick a price $1 or $2 below the bid, and then let it come to him, otherwise he doesn't buy. And in a third of those cases, it seems that he's gotten his price. There's a third where it's kind of in the middle. He put it in, it didn't come to his price, so he didn't do the trade. And then there is other cases where the market just ran away completely from the direction he was trying to buy in, i.e. usually below the price that's shown for the stock. So sort of I've been intrigued, because my style when I trade is typically to pay the market price rather than, or the ask, rather than try to get the bid. You do get better execution, and it's cheaper to get the bid. But for my calculations, after watching what I do and he does, it feels to me that he's missed out on so much money from waiting for the better price that he could have easily paid for the overall cost of paying more. So in essence, from the size he trades and the money that he's moving around, what I noticed is that I tend to trade at market only because if you sit and calculate how many trades you miss out on trying to get the great price, and then the trade moves in the direction you wanted, which is why you were trying to get in to begin with, it seems to me that I sort of netted out to the fact that you're losing a whole bunch of trades that you might wanted to do because you were trying to cheap out for $1 or $2. So it'll be interesting to see, what your analysis is based on your trading experience and how that plays out in your trading activity. But in general, that's kind of been my experience of trying to aggressively get below the bid price on what you're doing. So I really think that if you're serious about making money, that you have to get approved for after and pre-market trading on whatever platform you're on, and then start making an effort to trade that, because there's a lot of opportunities after earnings for a lot of companies or pre-market that are being missed out upon, and a lot of money being made there. So you really want to be in that arena and able to make money in it. So I think that the only other thought I had on this is sort of what I tend to do or look at or have been seeing happen is that if you kind of know that, I kind of feel like the best reason to be trading in the after hours is if you think the stock's going up, because you're able to buy and sell, but you can't really hedge. And so the thought there was perhaps, lay in some puts prior to the close of the day, not too far to the money. That way, if you choose to buy, in the aftermarkets, if the trade goes against you, you have some puts waiting to capture value if your calls didn't work out, or calls in the form of buying stock. I'm impressed, though. One last note here is that I'm impressed by what I've heard about Ameritrade's sort of big player. They're giving leverage up to 4-to-1, so it can turn stock trading into a little bit options trading almost. So it might be something to consider as well. Plus, they have a lot of sink or swim and other techniques that you can use for some fairly high-level trading. So, at any rate, I want to thank you all for joining us. This is Greg for Teslafaninsight. Remember, 25 leg lifts. I'm going to go do mine. Don't forget, fried foods no more than once a week. Highly recommend you think about, excuse me, I would encourage you to consider the 5-2 or some other diet, help with mental faculties a bit. And a little weightlifting wouldn't be bad in terms of bone density. At any rate, want to again thank you for joining us. Best of luck on your trading of Tesla today. The $10 up in the pre-market suggests it should be up in the 20-25 range today in theory. And we look forward to seeing that movement and you making some money in the process. This is once again Greg for Teslafaninsight. Have a great day. Bye for now. Tschüss, German au revoir, French, lehitrot, Hebrew, choda hafez, Farsi, hey, do, Swedish, zdravstvuyte, Russian, ni hao ma, Chinese, and one at Virginia, and in Jamaica we say, enough respect, walk good man. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day, and bye for now.